Art Docent, 3rd grade, Lesson E. Artist portray horses. The horse is a beautiful animal, and artists like to show its graceful form, its muscles, shiny coat, and its mane and tail. They especially like to show the horse in action. Throughout history, the horse has been a favorite subject for artists. The Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all made sculptures of horses, as do many present-day artists. Prince on Pony by Diego Velázquez. Diego Velázquez was already trained to be an artist at age 11. Age 24, the Spanish King Philip IV invited him to Madrid, and he became the king's painter. He painted the king's son, Prince Balthazar Carlos, on a pony. Notice the low horizon, the distant landscape pale in color, cold blues and grays. In contrast, in the foreground you see the warm, vibrant tones of the boy and his pony. Does the horse seem to be moving, or does his position seem frozen? Frightened Horse by Eugene Delacroix. What is this horse doing? His head is tossed back. His mane and tail show movement and action. Look at the expression in his eyes. Delacroix painted him in sterling whites and placed him against an action-filled blue-black sky. Notice the different tones of the color blue in the background. Central Park by Maurice Prendergast. Maurice Prendergast made his watercolor painting of New York Central Park, showing us a time before cars were invented. We see horses pulling carriages as people relax comfortably on the park benches in the foreground. Notice the things that Prendergast has repeated to create patterns. The wooden boards of the benches, the seated figures, even the reddish umbrellas and the wheels of the carriage. What sounds would you probably hear if you were in this picture? He has used rather light, muted colors throughout, and this gives us a feeling of harmony and unity. The Apache by Frederick Remington. We see an Apache Indian on his horse hiding behind a rock. The horse knows to stand very still because the man is aiming his rifle at something back in the distance. Notice how the diagonal slope of the hills leads our eyes to the covered wagon. Notice how the ocotillo cactus points to the wagon also. The horse seems to blend in to the background due to his color and texture. The colors are warm and earthy in tone. The horse's ears are up, alert, and we see a bit of shadow on the rock and ground. Notice the clothing that the Native American is wearing and the details of the saddle. What do you think will happen next? The Generals by Marisol. This is an abstract sculpture. Abstract sculpture is a type of modern art that does not try to realistically represent anything in the visible world. Instead, these sculptures focused on the shapes and forms. We see two men on one horse. You can see the grain of the wood except where the artist added paint. It is witty, giving us a social and personal comment about the people she chose for her portraits: General George Washington and General Simon Bolivar. The bodies of the generals are like two rectangular boxes. This more realistic representation of the hands is in sharp and startling contrast to the rest of the sculpture, which is quite abstract. Their presence emphasizes that sculpture is not just a large toy with no meaning. Art project. Draw and color a horse. Step 1. Draw a horse with a pencil by following the video instructions. Your teacher provided you the link for this art project. Step 2. Color the horse and background with markers using a pair of complementary colors, red and green, or orange and blue, or yellow and purple. Take a picture and submit your homework. Enjoy!